It's your boy JFab, and we're out here working on the 69 F350. We've already made a little bit of progress, but I figured this is too good to not pull the camera out for. So I got the plug swapped out already. Most all of them look like this, just totally disgusting, like oily, rich, lean mixture catastrophe there. Dirt, oil, all the nasty stuff. So anywho, we got this adapter plate at O'Reilly's, and it is meant to go from a 4-barrel to a 2-barrel carb, but we wanted to do the exact opposite of that. So this had you remember what? Oh, it was a Ford Motor Company branded carburetor, but it's only a 2-barrel and is only pushing about 350 CFM. So I got a Edelbrock like 1404 from my buddy Victor, and that thing is 500 CFM. So it's not a huge jump, but it's enough to where we're probably going to notice something and get a little more power out of it.
And it won't shoot fucking fuel out.
Oh, and it won't shoot fuel out of it. So we already pulled the mechanical fuel pump filter and everything apart and cleaned that out and reinstalled it. You know, put some oil on the seal so it wouldn't tear. Did all that good jazz. So toss that back in there. So it's got a clean fuel filter now, or clean-ish. You know, and just did some backyard garage stuff to that. Replaced some rubber fuel hose already, and we almost have this adapter plate completely in. But we did have to drill out. Let me flip the camera around and I'll show you guys what we had to drill out. We did have to drill out every single one of these holes so we could get a socket to fit in there, because originally it's meant for a bolt to go all the way through, and it has a bolt head like style flange at the bottom, kind of like a socket would if you flipped it up and you're looking at it, so it would hold that tight and you wouldn't have to hold a wrench on it. But so we needed to drill that out anyways, but we didn't have any sockets that were slim enough to fit in there. By the time we ground on a socket, it would be open on all the ends and it wouldn't work. So we just took a 5/8 drill bit on my little Bauer Harbor Freight drill with a Milwaukee drill bit that costs almost as much as the whole drill, on top of that, to bore out those holes and get everything quote machined unquote to the correct size so we could install this. And after this, we're going to be bolting on the 4-barrel. But yeah, spark plugs all replaced. Hey, bro, I'm going to have to go through and bleep that now, huh? Just kidding. I haven't said a cuss word once in this video yet, so that's great. I'm sure many will be to come here soon. But yeah, so, oh yeah, originally.
Oh, and the belts are freaking.
Oh yeah, the belts are pretty clapped. Looking really good. Gonna look like a stick of deodorant. Got a new oil filter. Gonna put some 15W40 in it, just some standard like SA, because this thing it hasn't left a pool yet, which I'd be very surprised if it didn't.
There's no fucking oil.
So yeah, no, it's got oil in it, dude.
Idiot.
You see that? Look at that.
Oh,
it's
that's
full.
A black bumhole right there.
Yeah, it's full. So let's see if I can one-handed. Oh man, I'm skilled. Okay. So we got that all swapped out. Anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. So we're gonna adapt this fuel line here to a rubber fuel hose to go on the side of the carburetor, and try to get all the linkage hooked back up. But besides that, she should be a mint runner after that. Oh yeah, so we started it and it was shooting. We pulled the carb head off and it was shooting fuel from here about 6 or 8 inches up in the air and pooling it down in the valley. So that was not good. So we realized we needed a new carburetor at that point, because it's shooting fuel out of somewhere that shouldn't even have fuel shooting out of it.
Yeah, well, the float was stuck open, so it's constantly just dumping fuel and overflowing. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, so that's what was happening there. And between that and the exhaust manifold gasket over here that shoots literal flames out in this direction with fuel squirting straight up in the air out of the carburetor, underhood fire was about to happen regardless. So another precaution, another $20 at O'Reilly's. We got a Felpro metal exhaust manifold gasket for it. So I'm gonna try to swap those out, but they're probably gonna be an absolute pain in the ass, because you know how manifold bolts are. So yeah, but here's a new carb, looking spiffy. I'll show you the fancy Edelbrock symbol on the other side. Damn, we looking good, kit. So that's basically what we're working on. Pretty excited. All right, fancy guys and gals of YouTube, check this thing out. There's some zip ties and bias plies out right here. Took a grinder to the socket here. Got her fitting just cherry enough so she'd slide down in there, because you know, not super mint, so she's mint now. We had to taper it because where it was at the bottom, that hole, you know, since we use a drill bit, they're tapered at basically like a 45, so we had to cone this out a little bit so to get those bolts all the way tight, but that's not going anywhere. She's gonna be cherry. Okay, so if you ever break the throttle rod assembly on your 1968 Ford F350, you can use a spoke off a bicycle. It worked pretty good. So basically what we did here is bent this one all around here, you know, from the top. Everything used to be positioned on the bottom. I moved it to the top because that just makes more sense to me for some reason. So have the spoke bent here with the flare down there, looped it there, and now we have full tilt boogie here of the throttle. So worked pretty mint. So now I have the fuel line hooked up to the new carb, the new 4-barrel, and I have the throttle connected. I just got to figure out how to get this battery to charge for a second. I was using my 20-volt Bauer battery, which probably wasn't a very good idea, but it worked to start it like 3 or 4 times already. So
It's still got like,
yeah, how many bars has it got?
it's got 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 after starting the rig like 3 or 4 times. So pretty impressive. So we're gonna try to do that again probably and see if we can get it to start, and I can adjust the carb to get it to idle right, and then I can move it into the light so I don't have to wear a headlamp the whole time I'm working on it. Hell yeah. Delicious. Oh, it's so delicious. Wow. Look at you drink it all up. It's a good girl. Shut the fuck up. Okay, so this is why I like old stuff so much. Just replacing a headlight bulb on newer cars nowadays can be one of the biggest hassles that you can possibly imagine. I know on some of the newer Chevys, like the Chevy Impala, you literally have to pull the whole front bumper off of the car to replace the headlight bulbs. It's ridiculous. So it's not going to be quite as slick as the other side just because you used a different size screw for one of them there, but rotate it. Boom. There you go. That's out. Now these are super old connections, so they're a little bit hard to come apart, but not too bad. Old headlights out already. Walk around, grab your freshie. You know, like 15 bucks a pair at your local O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Sealed beam, halogens, ready to go. Okay. So I'm making a monkey of it here, but I don't believe those are orientated either. There we go. No, they're not. Okay, rotate it back 90. Put this top screw in. So they use this screw for the top, or whoever is in here last. So it's not an OEM screw. So you don't normally have to pull any of the screws out to do this job. But boom. Headlights already replaced. Toss your bezel back on, 4 screws, and you'll be sitting pretty. know these all thread into little plastic couplers, which you're not going to want to over tighten them because they'll just explode, because this thing was originally assembled in 1968, so this plastic's a little bit worn and torn. Fortunately, these covers do a pretty good job of protecting everything from the weather. Boom. Headlight replaced. What was that, like 2-3 minutes? Now, obviously, once I start my build plan with this thing, and I'm not just doing regular maintenance. I bought these for the 76 when I first got on my other rig, the dent side. So this thing's a 68 bump side, but they're still 7-inch round, you know, halogen headlights. So I was able to toss these right in there. No big deal. Changed the oil, new freshy filter, new plugs. Got a new carburetor under there, which you guys have seen that. 4-barrel swap. So that's been mint. And put a little bit of fresh fuel in it and some seafoam. Then you can hop in here, make sure she's not in gear. Turn the key, 2 pumps. Now, obviously, it doesn't sound super nice because I need to put those guys in. Because this exhaust manifold on this side has completely left the chat. I might be able to get you guys to where you can see it. Yeah, right there. Absolutely no gasket whatsoever. You can see where it's been shooting out. Right in here. It's been pretty rough. But yeah, probably soak these bolts in some WD-40 and PB blaster or whatever I got sitting around, and pop those guys off so I can toss those new gaskets in there, and she should be purring like a kitten. I'm gonna conclude it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Just some regular maintenance, bringing the 68 back to life. It's a pretty sweet rig. I'm excited to start my build on it. You guys will be updated with the build plan as soon as I get that started, but for now we're just working with it the way she is and bringing her back to life with some freshy oil, some plugs, new carb, and just giving her some love. So super excited for what this rig has to come. Still got to finish the dent side obviously, but this is going to be my dent side hauler, so should be pretty mint. Anyways, not going to film the exhaust manifold gaskets because that's probably just going to be a pain in the ass, and I'm not going to be super stoked doing that job, but I will update you guys with the running video on Instagram when I get that all done. She's purring like a kitten. So thank you. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep an eye out for freshy content on old rigs that need love and attention. So have a nice night, day, morning, whatever it is.